Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. What I want to talk about in this video is a very controversial subject. It's a subject that is getting a lot of black people upset, really, like angry, And what I'm talking about is evidently Florida Governor Ron Desantis gave a speech, I think in the 20th of this month, in which he stated that he was rejecting a proposal for African American studies in the schools. Right off the back, people just jumped off jumped on the deep end, started getting upset, started getting mad, which is no surprise to me. Okay. And when I saw the headline for that, for this particular video that was sent to me by a friend of mine, I automatically knew that it wasn't what people thought it was. Now, somebody might argue, well, I was listening to what he was saying. Let me put something out there. When I looked at the bottom of this of the video that was sent to me by a friend of mine, and I looked for the source, I always look at sources because every source don't tell you the truth. They don't tell you the whole story. They omit things. I saw CNN. When I saw CNN, I knew right away. Oh, here we go. A lot of people who watch CNN are being indoctrinated with liberal and leftist ideology. Now, I'm not finna go into the details of all that. I don't have the time for it. All I know is CNN is known for lying. They're known for twisting facts. They're known for omitting certain things that a person is saying in their speeches to make it look like they're racist. They did it with Donald Trump for I don't know how long. Come find out Trump didn't say none of the stuff that they were saying he said. All they did was took a statement of what he said and then made it look like he was saying something else because they omitted the full speech. And when I saw CNN, I saw, I already know. I said, I suspected right there. My antennas went up. So I have been searching for this article because I wanted to do an article on this because I wanted to find out exactly what Ron Desantis was talking about. Because in my opinion, based on the information that I know about him so far and been reading up on him, I don't believe he's a racist. Now, so what's going on here? I'm going to read this article and I'm going to give you the details. Now, people can feel what they want to feel, say what they want to say. But when I read you this article, you'll know exactly everything that he said, not just the parts that CNN showed you in the video. Okay? You will see it in its context. Now, let's get right with it. And it starts off with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has reportedly rejected a high school advanced placement course for African American studies. Now, notice it's rejected a high school advanced placement course. So this is an advanced placement, you just take you up a notch, okay, supposedly, for African American studies, right? Let's read this. A letter earlier this month from Florida Department of Education's Office of Articulation told the College Board that the AP Advanced Placement, course is, quote, inexplicitly contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value. Now, before anybody starts getting upset, oh my God, what is he talking about? Oh man, what are you talking about? Oh no. Let's read on. Let's see people's emotions get involved. It's a quote. In the future, should College Board be willing to come back to the table with lawful, historically accurate content, FDOE will always be willing to reopen the discussion, the letter said. DeSantis spokesman Brian Griffin further told CNN the course, quote, leaves large, ambiguous gaps that can be filled with additional ideological material, which we will not allow. You see what's going on here? Of all people to tell that to, you tell CNN. All CNN going to do is omit what needs to be heard. They're going to admit it and take it out of its context. What he says, the course leaves large, ambiguous gaps that can be filled with additional ideological material, which we will not allow. In other words, politicizing it. Let's read on. As the Department of Education has previously stated, if the College Board amends the course to comply, provides a full course curriculum, and incorporates historically accurate content, then the department will reconsider the course for approval, Griffin added. So they're trying to make this this group is trying to make this proposal to the college board to get this amendment, to get this thing put in. And it's okay. Well, you need to put more in it. What you're giving us is ambiguous. We don't understand all of what you're giving us. They want more details because it seems apparent that this board knows and understands the curriculum that's being pushed in the school systems in Florida. That is not what people think it is. But I'm going to read on. Let's go on. The College Board declined to comment on the decision and only said that it looks, quote, forward to bringing this rich and inspiring exploration of African-American history and cultures to students across the country. Let me read that again. As the Department of Education has previously stated, if the College Board amends the course to comply, provides a full course curriculum, and incorporates historically accurate content, then the department will reconsider the course for approval, Griffin added. The problem isn't the Department of Education here in the state of Florida. The problem is this College Board. What exactly are they trying to put in there? And notice what they said. The College Board declined to comment on the decision and only said that it looks forward to bringing this rich and inspiring explanation of African-American history and culture to students across the country. Why did you decline? Why did you decline? Why did you decline a comment? Are you trying to fabricate something to say? That's what's going on. Let's read on. Let's read on. Now, I'm going to read a portion here. There's a portion here that I wanted to read, you guys. It says a critical race theory whistleblower said the curriculum, quote, suggests to all of our students who aren't black or brown that they are responsible for centuries of horrible oppression. And this is from a critical race theory whistleblower, which seems to indicate that this person was probably in support of the critical race theory concept. But I'm going to get into the details of that a little later. But except to say, before I read any further here, let me go ahead and deal with it here. I'm going to deal with it here. Critical race theory is not what people think it is. Proponents or supporters of critical race theory, which are usually leftist college professors and leftist school teachers and leftist politicians, push critical race theory as black history and a part of black history. No, it is not. I've been studying this for a while. It is not. Critical race theory stemmed from critical theory, which was a philosophy or worldview that was based on the Frankfurt School Marxist professors that migrated here to America. I say this quite often, in the 1930s from Frankfurt, Germany. They migrated here from the 1930s because they didn't want to suffer the persecution of Hitler, because their worldview was different, somewhat different than Hitler's. They didn't want to suffer persecution under him because he wanted absolute control. So they migrated from Frankfurt, Germany to America. They were assisted by John Dewey, who was a socialist and the father or the originator of so-called progressive education in America. John Dewey helped place these Frankfurt School Marxist professors in different college courses all over the country. Columbia University, Princeton, Harvard, and others, okay? As well as kindergarten through 12, but mostly through the universities. The Frankfurt School Marxist professors were supporters of communism. They were a variant of communism, but they were what is known as a quiet form of communism. They understood that in order to destroy America and Western countries, you could not do it with force, because the people in the West would not put up with that. They were too entrenched in their freedoms and their constitutional rights. You had to do it through stealth and deception and manipulation. So when the Frankfurt School Marxists migrated here to America in the 1930s, they had certain goals in order to accomplish that. This is also called cultural Marxism, which is the idea or worldview of changing the culture to accept communism through first breaking down the belief systems of that culture and rebuilding them again to accept communism or socialism, which is a stepping stone to communism. Okay. Now, the Frankfurt School Marxists helped create critical theory in the school systems. The purpose of critical theory was to break down the traditional belief systems in the schools and in religion, but mainly in the schools, break them down, okay? This is also called deconstructionism. The purpose was to break down, using critical theory, to break down, and deconstructionism, to break down the classical educational system, make you doubt the classical educational system, and then rebuild it again to reflect a communist worldview. But in order to do that, you have to destroy or deconstruct the present system from within. Part of that is critical race theory, which is a variant of critical theory. So you got all kinds of critical theories. You got critical race theory, you got critical science theory, you got critical gender theory, all of these type of theories and, queer studies and all this. These are variants of cultural Marxism that came from the Frankfurt School Marxists in the 1930s. The purpose was to completely fabricate and destroy traditional values in America from within in order to recreate it to accept a communist worldview. That's what that's all about. Critical race theory is a theory that teaches that that whites are inherently racist, that nothing they can do to prove that they're not. They're inherently racist, and that blacks are victims of their inherent racism and can't do anything about that. That in order for blacks to come out of their victimhood, they need to look to the government, which is the plan all along. The purpose is to foster division. I'm going to deal with it right here. Might as well deal with it right here. The purpose of critical race theory, which is a variant of cultural Marxism, okay, is to foster division, not unity and accurate historical facts. This is what Ron Desantis was saying. This is what this critical race theory whistleblower was talking about. Okay, now we got to understand how proponents or supporters of critical race theory operate. They understand that a significant number of Americans will not accept the curriculum if it just comes out and says critical race theory. Why? Well, because the term critical race theory or CRT has too many negative connotations to it. So what they do is they veil it or they cover it up with phrases like African American studies, queer studies, gender studies. Those are just titles that they give these courses in order to get people to accept them. And they're highly sophisticated. But see, I read through that, and so did Ron Desantis. He was not rejecting African American history in a classical sense, because true African American history focuses on the accomplishment of black people here in America. That's what it focuses on the accomplishments of black people here in America. You can get that going at the library. Go to your local library and you'll find all kinds of books on African American history and the accomplishment of many of the people in America who accomplished great things. Of course, we need to know about that. But that's not what Ron Desantis is talking about. He's not talking about censoring or barring or banning classic African American studies. He's talking about censoring or barring this crap that this critical race theory is proponents are trying to push, but they're doing it in an underhanded way. Let's read on. Let's read on. I'm gonna keep reading. Okay. Like all new AP courses, AP African American Studies is undergoing a rigorous multi-year pilot phase, collecting feedback from teachers, students, scholars, and policymakers, the statement said. The process of piloting and revising course framework is a standard part of the new AP course, and frameworks often change significantly as a result. We will publicly release the updated course framework when it is completed and well before this class is widely available in American high schools. So this is what American high schools, plural. So they trying to push this stuff big time. Let me say something too. I omitted this before I read the rest of this. You may ask, why are they trying to say this? Why are they fostering this division? The purpose is to create a Marxist revolution. How you create a Marxist revolution, okay, is you put groups against each other. You put division against the groups, division where there was no division. Or if there was division, it's been rectified. It's been solved. What Marxists do, what the cultural Marxists have been doing and are doing, particularly with critical race theory, is to foster division between whites and blacks in the school systems and all over this country. But I'm going to deal specifically with the school systems. To foster division among the school systems. Here's what they do. They'll tell blacks you're victims. Your problems are caused by white people. What do you think that is going to do to young black people to hear that? I see this every time when I go downtown. I work in security. Y'all know I'm going to tell you that I work in security. I see this and hear this from black people all the time. They mad at white police officers. They mad at black police officers in security because we are part of the system. Why? Where did it come from? From these lies and this propaganda coming from the school systems, the mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, okay? The politicians, left-leaning politicians, and even some preachers are pushing it. They've been indoctrinated because the Frankfurt School Marxists not only infiltrated the school systems and the political systems and the entertainment industry, they also infiltrated religious institutions. That's how smart they are. That's how manipulative they are. Okay? Now, the purpose is to foster division between the groups, whites and blacks, and get blacks so angry that you can't say anything to them and get whites fearful and feeling guilty. The purpose is to foster so much anger against these groups that they start fighting each other. And that's where the revolution starts, right? That's where the war starts. But it was a war created by the manipulators behind the scenes, telling black people that you're a victim no matter what you do of white oppression. Telling white people that you inherently, by your very nature, are racist. Totally unfactual, totally fabricated, totally goes against all real history. Totally goes against that. But if you keep pumping that in the minds of the people, they're going to believe it, right? Clearly they are. The purpose is to foster a revolution, get the groups fighting against each other, wage war against each other, and then guess who comes in? The almighty government, which was the plan from the beginning. They come in and say, we're going to solve this problem. How they solve the problem? Socialism, which will eventually merge into communism. That's the plan. Has been for decades. It's time for America to wake up and smell the coffee. Let's go on. The governor's rejection of the plan follows his, quote, Stop Woke Act, which aims to ban, here we go, critical race theory, or CRT, in the state's public schools. That's what it was about. I knew it was. It's also based on false history. This is what he says. This is a quote from the governor. It's also based on false history when they try to look back and degenerate the founding fathers, degenerate the American Revolution, doing all these different things that even very liberal historians say is not supported by the facts, the governor said during a press conference in Pensacola in May. And that's exactly what the Frankfurt School Marxists do. That's what the Marxists, that's what they do is they degenerate. And one of the ways in which they destroy the country from within, and this is every country that they've infiltrated, particularly in the West, is they destroy the founders of those countries. They demonize them, make them look like they're criminals, like they're all evil. Okay? That's the purpose, is to demonize them. That way, you don't have any belief in the founding fathers of the country. And as a result, you're not going to study civics because you don't believe in it. You don't believe in the American system anymore. That's all by design. It's not a perfect system, but I guarantee you, you wouldn't want to go to one of these other countries that don't have that kind of system. You don't have the freedom of religion like you have here in America. You don't have the freedom of speech, at least to some extent, like you here in America. People are so free in America, they can be the transgender and be protected by the government like it's nothing. In fact, they're the most protected group in the country. That's how free you can be here in America. You're not going to get that nowhere else. Come on, let's be realistic, man. Let's read on. DeSantis also signed a bill that restricts what schools can say about race when teaching children. And listen to this. He also helped pass a bill that bars teachers from discussing sexuality with children as young as 5, what the left improperly dubbed the, quote, "don't say gay" bill, which the bill did not say that. But of course, liberals, they lie because they don't believe in right and wrong, okay? Lisa Hill, the historian department chair of Hamlin Hall County Day School in Connecticut, told CNN that the class does not have a political agenda. These are her words. "I must tell you for sure, we don't have a political agenda," Hill said. "It is not a course of indoctrination. My philosophy of education is you learn and discuss and debate so you can get a better understanding of what's presented to you. We teach facts," she added. "We're not delving into theory." Oh, so that's the end of the article there. So because she said we teach facts, we're not delving into theory, I'm supposed to believe that? I'm supposed to believe that? She said we teach facts, we don't teach in theory. But that's what critical race theory is. That's what it is. You can cover it up all you want to and give it all kinds of different names, but if you're teaching that white people are inherently racist and blacks and non-blacks are people who are oppressed by this racial system, that's clearly Marxism. Because that's what Karl Marx pushed. Class wars. That was what he pushed. Get groups against each other. There you go. There you go. That's what he was saying. He wasn't pushing against African American studies in the classical sense. He was pushing against this information that these critical race theory supporters from this so-called school board that he suspected were trying to push a woke agenda that demonizes white people and makes black people look like victims. That's what that is. It's Marxism 101. And I can spot a Marxist just like that. That's what it is. So there you go. It ain't what you think it is. I don't believe he's a racist. And now that I see the whole story, and if you guys are bothered to watch this video, you know the whole story. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. This is where I stand. This is what I believe. This is what I study. At the end of the day, it's my opinion, but it is what it is. This is what I believe. So it is what it is. Like I said, I don't believe that he's a racist at all. And he's just trying to protect the schools from a lot of this woke nonsense. Okay. And I'm going to assume he understands Marxism and communism and socialism. I'm going to assume he understands how deep that goes and how long it's been going on. Okay. So that's what I wanted to say right there. You guys can leave me your comments. It's so much more to talk about here. A friend of mine, I'm probably sure she's pretty sure she's watching this video. This video is going longer than it normally does. There's so much information to cover. But she asks, do I agree with Black history studies and so forth, or rather African American studies? Should I believe in it and so forth? I'm gonna talk to her a little bit later about that. I might do a separate video on that. But it suffices to say that I have a view that a lot of black people don't want to deal with. But let me end the video on this. And this is a summation. The liberal left and the Democrats know how to play black people. This is just my opinion on this, okay? This is what I see, and this is what I've studied. This is what I see, and this is what I observe, and this is what I experience. They know how to play on black people's emotions. Okay? The first thing that black people started doing when they saw this and heard what they heard on CNN's lying self, oh my God, he a racist. Then you hear people on The View, them cackling women on The View, cackling and yakking. You know, you hear that. So what black people start acting up, oh my God, he's a racist. All that. They start overreacting emotionally. The Democratic Party knows that works every single time with black folks, man. Unfortunately, it does. Not all black people, But with a lot of black people, particularly in the inner city, okay, with a lot of low-income black people in the inner city, for whatever reason, they tend to let their emotions dictate their decisions. So if they see something like this, they jump on it and automatically assume it's about racism. And that's not what it is. Get the whole story first before you jump on the bandwagon. The very party that is racist, which is the Democrats, and your boy Biden that you voted for, you won't even say anything about him. He has said so many different things that were clearly racist from my perspective. No black person won't even say anything about it. Very few would say anything about it. But let a Republican say something that you think is racist, you jumping all over it. Because you let CNN and MSNBC and CBS and the Democratic Party pump your head full of lies and emotional rhetoric. That's just my opinion, man. It's a strong opinion, but that's how I feel. That's what I observe. That's what I believe, folks. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. God bless you all. See you again.